Hello, my name is Kathy Crawford, and I'd like to welcome you to this 5-minute forward session where we will be briefly discussing the 5 FSMA required components for food defense plans. The intentional adulteration rule is the part of FSMA that requires facilities to develop and implement a food defense plan. The compliance date for this was July 26th for most companies. It's July 2020 for small companies and July of 2021 for very small companies. That rule requires that your food defense plan contains 5 components, and we'll be looking at 3 of those components in detail based on FDA guidance. While guidance is not intended to act as a rule, it reflects FDA's best thinking and industry best practices. Companies that already have food defense plans are advised to review this information and to update their plan in order to meet the guidance. The first required component of your food defense plan is the vulnerability assessment. The purpose is to identify if there's a significant vulnerability, and if so, determine where it can be controlled. These control points are called actionable process steps. FDA guidance suggests 3 methods to complete this assessment: the key activity types method, the evaluation of 3 fundamental elements, or what's known as the hybrid approach. Under the key activity types method, companies review their process steps in their facility compared to activities known to indicate a risk or a vulnerability. The 4 key activity types are bulk liquid receiving and loading, liquid storage and handling, secondary ingredient handling, and mixing and similar activities. If your process includes one of these key activity types, there is a likely actionable process step that will require mitigation. Here you can see an example of how you can document evidence of completing your vulnerability assessment using the key activity type method. The form is much like one you have probably used with your HACCP or food safety plan in the past. You can see in columns 1 and 2, you list and identify process steps that will match your flowchart. In column 3, you describe that step. In column 4, indicate that you're using the key activity types method. In column 5, indicate whether or not that step falls within the definition of a key activity type. And in column 6, if it does fall within that definition, you would answer yes. If it does not fall within that definition, you would answer no. The second method of conducting a vulnerability assessment is to evaluate the fundamental elements of potential risk for intentional adulteration. There are 3 fundamental elements identified. It's the potential risk to public health, it's the degree of physical access, and it's the ability to successfully contaminate. These elements must be considered in every vulnerability assessment, but they're already incorporated into the CAT method. If companies prefer to do their own, more detailed evaluation, this method allows the facility to consider more specific information pertaining to their facility and their process. FDA guidance provides a scoring method to be used along with this vulnerability assessment method. Here you see an example of how this type of vulnerability assessment might be documented. Again, in this format, you would list each process step and describe it, and then you would score that step based on tables and information that's provided in the FDA guidance on intentional adulteration. And in the final column, again, you would answer yes or no. Is this step an actionable process step based on that final score? The third method for conducting a vulnerability assessment is known as the hybrid approach. Under this approach, you begin with the CAT method. Then, rather than assume all key activity types are automatically an actionable process step, the company can choose to use an evaluation of the fundamental elements to determine if a specific key activity type truly is an actionable process step for your facility. The format you might document this is seen below, and it's similar to the format we just looked at in the previous slide. This method combines both approaches. For each actionable process step identified through the vulnerability assessment, mitigation strategies must be identified. They should be risk-based and reasonable. The main goal is to minimize access and reduce opportunity. On the FDA website, there is a Food Defense Mitigation Strategies database that can be used to help you identify some of those mitigation strategies. Each mitigation strategy must have a written procedure and records of monitoring. So this includes what will be monitored and how, and that should be directly related to the actual vulnerability identified in your assessment. Frequencies need to be documented, and they can be flexible and even planned to be irregular because unpredictability can actually enhance food defense. Those who conduct monitoring should be trained, and they should ensure that records created demonstrate compliance to the plan. We've discussed 3 of the 5 FSMA-required components for food defense plans. Remember to watch for updates to the FDA guidance named below to learn more about corrective action procedures and verification procedures. This was a quick overview. I highly encourage additional training to make sure your company complies with FSMA, meets best practices, and continues to ensure food is protected. Thank you for your time, and I encourage you to contact us if you need more help. Have a great day.